In this video, you're going to be spamming the living hell out of your solar melees. Here's what you're gonna get overall. You're gonna get a damage boost at all times. You're going to be getting a ton of class ability energy, infinite amounts of knives, guaranteed ignitions, and also unlimited healing for this build. Be sure to hit that like and sub button, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Now let's start with the exotic armor piece that would allow us to do these despicable things in Destiny. This exotic armor piece got a rework this season. Here's what it does. Gain a second knife per charge, so instead of having one, you're now gonna have two. Getting a final blow with a throwing knife grants consecutive knives a temporary stacking damage bonus. And let me show you guys how big of the damage bonus it is when having this exotic armor on. So let's just say you get one kill. So that one kill will give you a 30% damage increase. If you get two, it would give you 60%. And if you get three, it would be a 100% melee damage increase for your knives. But it will last up to 5 seconds. In order for you to refresh the buff, all you will need to do is activate your class ability, aka your dodge, to fully refresh the buff. So you would also get an extra melee charge if you're using a solar subclass, in which case we're using that as well to get the full benefit for this exotic armor piece. Now let's head to the hunter subclass, aka the gunslinger. For the super, it doesn't really matter what you're using, but for me, I'm using Blade Barrage because of the base cooldown, which is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. For the abilities, here are the main abilities that you should be going for this build. The first one, you have to put Gambler's Dodge, because whenever you dodge near a combatant, so it would recharge both of your knives. And for the melee, you gotta go for Knife Trick because one, it procs Scorch and also it makes them ignite. We're mainly focusing on Scorch because that's what it mainly does. But with the artifacts we have, we're always going to get a guaranteed ignition when getting a precision kill with these knives. And in order for you to get unlimited healing, you're first going to want to put this solar grenade called the Healing Grenade. Whenever you hit yourself with this grenade, it would give you restoration and also cure. And onto the aspects, here's what you need to run. The first one is Knock 'em Down. This one is good for your melee ability. While radiant, your final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. And whenever you're radiant, you're also going to be allowed to disrupt anti-barrier champions. The second aspect is good for your weapons mostly. It is On Your Mark. Precision final blows grants you and your nearby allies increased weapon handling and reload speed for a short duration. You could also stack this buff up to 3 times, and whenever you use your class ability, it would always grant you 3 stacks of On Your Mark. And now here are the fragments that you guys need to run if you want to be unstoppable with your throwing knives. This one allows you to get radiant whenever you inflict damage to combatants with your throwing knives. The second one will provide you a ton of class ability regeneration rate whenever you scorch targets. So we already know that the melee ability is going to scorch on hit. So this is going to be very good for your dodge. This fragment allows you to refresh the timer for restoration and radiant whenever you get solar weapon or ability final blows. If you want to increase the duration for radiant and restoration, and which I do highly recommend, you got to put this fragment if you want to do so. And last but not least, this one allows you to increase the area of effect for solar ignitions, in which case we're going to be wreaking havoc a boatload. And now for the weapons. To be honest, you don't really need any specific weapons for this build because we're mainly prioritizing and using our Knife Trick. But in this video, I'm using a Strand Fusion Rifle that you could get in Season of the Wish, and the perks you would want to go for are Overflow and Controlled Burst. For the exotic weapon, I chose to put this one because 1, it's unstoppable hand cannons this season, and 2, this is extremely good when dealing with ads and also causing ignitions as well. But I just mainly put it because of unstoppable hand cannon. In this video, the rocket launcher that I was using, as what you see here, which comes with reconstruction and bait and switch. I put this one just to deal with bosses and champions, but you can use any other weapon you'd like. And now for the seasonal artifact mods. Let me go through these seasonal artifacts and tell you which ones are the main ones that you need to use for this build. This artifact mod will allow you to produce a lot of orbs of power whenever your super is nearly full when getting ability final blows. The next one will allow you to weaken champions and bosses when causing damage with solar abilities for a short duration. And last but not least, whenever your radiant, solar precision final blows causes combatants to ignite. And yes, this also implies to getting a precision final blow combo, so be sure to get precision final blows when using your melee ability. Let's talk about which champions you could be able to stun for this build. If you're using a hand cannon, of course you're going to stun unstoppable champions, and also you can be able to stun them with ignitions. You can stun anti-barrier champions because we're going to be getting radiant at all times. So those are the two main champions we're going to be able to stun for this build. And now let's head to the stats. Here's what you need to run. Your main one is resilience because it would give you a 30% damage reduction if you have tier 10. But if you want to go for another stat roll as well, go for discipline 2. And now let's head to what armor mods you're mostly going to need for this build if you want to be unstoppable with your throwing knives. For the helmet, if you want to get bonus super energy on melee kills, be sure to put on this one, which is called hands on. And if you want to reduce your super whenever you dodge near combatants, be sure to put this on, which is called the dynamo. And last but not least, if you want to get more orbs of power when getting a double kill or more with solar weapon final blows, put on harmonic siphon. And for this video, I was using triple heavy-handed. And you guys are telling me like, why is super using triple heavy-handed? Let me explain. So if you would have 3 heavy-handed armor mods on your gauntlet, the orb generation cooldown is reduced to 1 second. And I know for this build, you're going to be getting a ton of knife kills, so that's why I put triple heavy-handed. I know it's too expensive, but it is worth it when producing orbs of power for you and your teammates. But if you guys think this is way too expensive, here's what you need to run. You're going to want to run heavy-handed, just one, impact induction, which reduces your grenade cooldown when dealing powered melee damage. And last but not least is focusing strike. You would be granted class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack. But if you check this build out in the dim link for the gauntlets, it would be triple heavy-handed, just FYI. And also check out the build, it's in the link in the description. Check it out, man. Let's head to the chest. For the chest, I know we're going to be like in point blank range, so I put melee damage resistance. It reduces incoming damage from combatants that are at point blank range, and the other two are just resist mods, so I put harmonic resistance and arc resistance. For the leg armor, I know that we're going to have tons of healing for this build, but you can never go wrong with more healing, right? So I put recuperation. Whenever you pick up an orb of power, it would give you healing. The second one would give us even more healing. It is called innervation. Whenever you pick up an orb of power, it would reduce your grenade cooldown. And if you want to go overboard with your class ability regenerate, put insulation. It reduces your class ability whenever you pick up an orb of power. And last but not least, for the hunter cloak, if you want to collect nearby orbs of power whenever you activate your dodge, put on powerful attraction. And also whenever you dodge, you would also be granted an orb of power, but sadly, if you would have one Reaper armor mod, it would give you a 10-second cooldown. And whenever you dodge, you would also reduce the grenade cooldown if you would have this armor mod called Bomber. So overall, your main goal is to get as much precision final blows as possible if you want to cause infinite ignitions to each and every enemy you hit in the head. Join the Discord! It's in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like and sub button. As always, I do really appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your day, evening, or afternoon. Take care and peace.